Recently, I discovered that my savings account, which I've held for so many years now, earns me a mere 0.1%. Now, inflation in our country stands at 16.4%. If you live in a country like mine, where the inflation rate is higher than your interest rates, then keep watching because your money is losing value. Let's get started. Hello there and welcome to this video. I'm Mukonki, Mukonkela, the host of the Ndalama Insights business show, where we turn your challenges into actionable insights. Now, after my discovery that my savings account earns me a mere 0.1%, I went out to do a research on all the commercial banks in my country. And in today's video, I want to share with you my findings and why you should not save money. I'm also going to look at what you should do with your money instead. Let's start by looking at the definition of inflation. Inflation is the increase in the prices for goods and services in an economy. Inflation can go up or down. For example, if inflation is standing at 16.4%, it means that the value or the prices for the goods and services such as fuel, food, and clothing is going to be increasing by 16.4% every year. As prices rise, you will need more money to buy the same goods or services that you used to buy for less money. Now, inflation does not only affect the prices for goods or services, it also affects your money. This is because if your savings account attracts an interest rate less than the inflation rate, it means that in effect, your money is being eroded by just staying at the bank. You see, when banks offer you an interest rate, what they are quoting you is what is referred to as a nominal rate. A nominal interest rate is an interest rate that does not take into account the effects of inflation. When you take inflation into account, you get the real interest rate. This is the interest rate that you need to work with if you want to understand the buying power of your money. For example, if your savings account right now earns you an interest rate of 1%, that is the nominal rate. To compute the real interest rate, you need to deduct inflation from the nominal interest rate. For example, if your bank offers you an interest rate of 1%, that's the nominal interest rate of 1% on your savings account, for you to compute your real interest rate, you need to deduct inflation from that 1%. So 1 minus 16.4% will give you a negative 15.4%. So this is in fact the real interest rate that you are earning on your savings account. Now, you might have noticed that this is a negative 15.4%. This is what I mean when I say that, in fact, your savings are being eroded because you're not taking into account the effect of inflation. So when you work with the real interest rate, you actually understand that your savings are being eroded just by sitting at the bank. You can also look at this from a different angle. If your savings aren't earning you at least 16% every year, it means that the effect of inflation would mean your money would buy less in a year's time. For example, if you put 1,000 kwacha in a bank account earning you a 1% interest rate, you would have 1,010 kwacha in 12 months' time. But 16.4% inflation rate means that the things that used to cost you 1,000 kwacha when you put the money in the account now cost you 1,164 kwacha a year later. So your money has lost buying power. The way to avoid this should be simple. Just put your money in a savings account that earns you above the inflation rate. Well, that's very good thinking, but unfortunately, there's no savings account in Zambia and in most countries all over the world that earn you an interest rate above its country's inflation rate. Now, here's an overview of the savings products that are available in Zambia. Savings products in Zambia can be classified into two groups. There's the basic savings account with a minimum balance of under 1,000 kwacha, and then there's the high-end market savings account with a minimum balance above 1,000 kwacha. Now, banks have got different savings products with different names. So you need to consult your bank in terms of the exact savings account that you have with them. Most savings accounts do not earn an interest rate above 6%, whether they are basic or high-end savings accounts, as can be seen in the graph. Other factors that affect the interest rate the bank offers you include 1, the amount you intend to save. 2, what class you fall under in your bank. Different banks have got different ways they classify their customers. There are banks that classify you as a premier customer or a prestige customer or just a personal customer. So you need to understand which class you actually fall into when you want to understand how much interest rate you are earning on your savings account. The third thing that you need to consider is the number of days you actually want to keep that money in the savings account. So these 3 factors plus the minimum balance affect the interest rate that the bank offers you on your savings. So it's very important that you talk to your bank to find out the exact savings account that you have and the interest rate that you are earning. I suspect if your interest rate is low, then most likely you have a basic savings account, just as I have. Now, my research showed that no savings account in Zambia offers an interest rate on savings above 6%. If you look at both the basic savings accounts as well as the high-end savings account graphs, you see that very few banks even offer the 6%. But the maximum interest rate you can get on your savings account is 6%. Now, this is below the inflation rate. The inflation rate currently stands at 16.4%. So no matter how much growth your savings experience or how much your savings grow by, your money is still going to be eroded because it is being eaten up by the inflation rate. So where do you keep your money, you might wonder? Well, you cannot stop inflation, but there are things that you can do with your money that will help you to grow your money as well as beat inflation. So let's look at the first thing that you need to do. Now, the first thing I advise is that you do not keep money in the savings account, but you keep only the money that you need to use in the short term, and you keep this money in a fixed deposit account. This money is the emergency fund. An emergency fund is money that you keep aside for a rainy day. It normally covers your basic needs such as your rentals, your school fees, your food, and any other emergencies, maybe funerals and other needs. A good emergency fund should be able to have enough money sufficient to cover 3 months or 90 days or 6 months or 180 days. Now, if you look at the fixed deposit accounts, you find that these accounts in Zambia offer a higher interest rate compared to the basic and high-end savings accounts. From the graph, you can see that the maximum interest rate you can get on a fixed deposit account for a 90-day period is 12%, and the lowest you can get is 4%. And if you look at the 180-day period, the maximum interest rate you can get on a fixed deposit account is 14.25%. Generally, you can see that the fixed deposit accounts have higher interest rates compared to the savings account. The highest interest rate you can get is on a fixed deposit account for 360 days. If you look at the graph on the fixed deposit lasting 12 months or 360 days, you see that the highest interest you can get is 17.75%, which actually beats the inflation rate. So if you can keep money in the account for 12 months, then you stand a good chance to actually beat inflation and grow your money through a fixed deposit account lasting 12 months. Now, it is important for you to understand that the role of a short-term fund is so that you can have easy access to your finances. Now that you've actually saved money for your emergency fund, do not put extra money in your bank because it is not going to grow. Worse still, don't put it in the savings account. As you've seen, you actually have a real interest rate which is in the negative. So what do you do with the money, the extra money that you have? Rather than putting it in a savings account, you need to actually invest that money. Now, there are different investment vehicles, and in my next video, I'm going to look at what kind of investments you need to consider if you want your money to grow. Because as we've seen, no savings account is ever going to grow your money. In fact, you are losing out money. So why not consider investments such as real estate, the stock market, government securities, and other investments that are available on the market right now. So in my next video, I'm going to look at what investments you should make with your money rather than save that money in the bank. These investments should be able to help you grow your money as well as beat inflation. This is what I had to share in today's video. Please take note that this is not financial advice, and it is general information that I'm providing to you because I was really inquisitive as to the value of my savings account. I want to hear from you as well. How much are you earning from your savings account? Drop a comment in the comment section below. And also I'm providing the link to the Bank of Zambia PDF copy for the September 2021 bank charges rate, where I got most of the information from. As I conducted my research, I made several phone calls to different banks that confirmed the data that I found. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and also consider sharing this video to others. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.